Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Final Show Films. I am Sen, your executive producer. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I particularly want to thank our $25 tier supporters over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/FSFilms, those being Jeremy and Alexander, Samantha Bates, and Elle, without whom we won't be able to do nearly as much of the things we do now. So thank you so much for your support over the years. And for those of you that are watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Exandria Rising. I am Sen, your game master for the evening, and I am joined by Shawnee. And Jack. And Holly. And Jeremy. And judging by appearances alone, the hangover that was once Craig. Uh, do you do you have or need glasses? Okay, good to know. All right, we're going to stop that train of thought. I mean, that's the doctor experience. And Trevian. All right. And we're also being joined at a distance by one of our two dogs in this house, Nola, whom you can hear occasionally barking very loudly. um, Nola would want to play anything you asked him to. Anyways, as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights. And this stream is powered by Sirenscape and also from Jeremy. There you go. When last we left off, our young adventurers had finished their final lesson for the summer, and we are just a few months ahead of several of them turning old enough to take the ships in the fall that come by, on various trade routes and leave to find their fame, fortune, and adventure in the world. Before doing that, they have one final adventure to go on. Najka, has been tasked with forging a suit of armor for herself, and in the ceremony of that armor, Nashka has to find and collect the materials necessary to create the armor herself. Um, to this end, she has been pointed to travel along the Squelt River through the Tuarnian jungle, which is on the island of Tuartikala that they live on. I'm going to just shift over to the Roll20 view just for a second so the audience can see the map. They are going to be going from Skrios up the river. I mean, unless you guys just want to go across the plains and not follow the river, which would be detrimental only really to Grouper. Uh, Greg, can't hear you. Yeah. Though at a certain point you will have to deviate from the river because, as you can see, it does not travel to either the north or south wall. Um, you've been given. Yeah, you can do that. As you can see, the yes, they're heading to the north wall. At which point they will travel into the Tornian jungle to find exotic material along the river towards Artiglace. Yes. Well, it's called the North Wall because the South Wall is the other one, which is definitively further south along the cleft. I mean, it's very plain in this particular case. It is both north and east of the South Wall. But rather than the northeast wall, rather than the northeast wall or the east wall, it's the north wall. Anyways, so the party has gathered and has been outfitted, and you are heading east out of Skrios, following the river. Um, you all gather, I assume, at the river's edge in town. You've got your. Is there any last minute preparations any of you want to make before you leave? It will be a following the river. It because the river is flowing towards Skrios, so you can't really make up time by being in the water. It would be just as long as walking, because currents are a bitch. It will be a couple of days to get to Iorna, and then from there about a day to get to the North Wall. So, mm-hmm. Yes. So yes, showing up with the goblins is Tenebris. Dravian, would you like to describe Tenebris? Mm-hmm. Having pause tends to make that optional. Uh, Grouper. You all know each other. You're all part of the same class and like social group. It's just that Tenebris wasn't in class yesterday. Yeah. The orphans. Uh, that depends. Um, in that case, you probably are. It honestly for Gerbine, it would be sort of a self selection aspect. Like, do you feel like you're ready? So there's not a rigid formal education system here. It's one old guy who's just trying to take care of the kids. All right. So yeah, get Tenebris equipped. Aside from the armor, what is there any sort of um is there any sort of other equipment that Tenebris would need to get as far as weapons or gear or anything like that? The Yeah, Nashka's father is loaning you all gear, so you can have basically anything that would be in the player adventure, that would be in the player guide as far as equipment is concerned. Um, it's considered magical because he made it, but it's not a +1 or have any other special effects. And these are for loan. You won't keep them after you get back, but you will be able to have them for the journey. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So just a dagger. And to be clear, you don't have to be proficient in a weapon to use it. You just mean you don't get your proficiency bonus with it, which most of you aren't proficient in these weapons. So. All right. So, aside from gearing up Tenebris, any other last minute preparations for the journey? They're a field mouse, basically. They're a walking field mouse. All right. So, you head out. It's 2 days to Yorna, and for the most part, um, the Dolce plains are relatively safe. This is not a place where, like the the shades that some of you encountered yesterday is a oh, hang on. They can't hear you guys. Why can't they hear you guys? Why why can't they hear you? It's on default. And my headphones are the default. I wish OBS would work. Anyways, they can hear you now. Sorry.
Hooray!
We haven't done much. Trevian, please re-describe Tenebris so that the audience can hear you.
Tenebris is a short, basically field mouse person with fairly basic clothes, no shoes, with light tan fur and more blondish hair.
Yeah, like my output capture was set to my default audio device. These headphones are currently my default audio device. I don't know why it wasn't capturing the audio. Anyways. We will continue on because I don't remember how much that I might need to repeat. They could hear me at least. So, 2 days across the 2 days going following the river across the Delchair Plains, stopping occasionally so that grouper could be thrown into the water, and fished back out.
Grouper, I think, can just kind of swim.
No, you need to be bodily thrown.
No.
You would be swimming against the current, so it would be more difficult for you to keep up if you were traveling in the river by itself, just the river. Because the current, because the river flows down, it's flowing downhill, literally towards Skrios. So,
I mean, that's just how grouper gets so swole.
Right.
Which is why you would more likely opt to walk, just because it would take a lot longer to swim.
Just sort of dipping in every now and again.
Yeah. Go ahead, anyone that wants to. Like I said, I was in the middle of saying something and I got distracted. Yeah, so the Dolce Plains are relatively safe. It's not the shades that you all fought yesterday is a rare occurrence, not a common one. There are dangerous things that live on the plains and in the forest, but they largely keep to themselves. And so long as you're following the river, which is a relatively well-traveled path, you're typically not going to encounter anything. So, who wants to roll me a D100 to find out if that stays true today or not?
Sure.
So, Jeremy, you
Y'all were too slow for me to. Y'all were too slow to prevent me from fucking us all up.
Do it.
I was
58.
sneezing.
Well, that's on you.
I was compromised.
I will just point out to Sen, Grouper has a passive perception of 16.
Mm-hmm, that's fine. This isn't
Oh,
about perception.
also-
This is about randomness.
Along. Sorry, go ahead.
Just dependent on what the randomness produces, Grouper is trying to keep an eye on things. That's all.
Jerry?
Along the as we're walking along, since we are walking right near the river, Ella will regularly be using shape water since it's at will, to be just pulling bits of water out and just randomly. It's almost like an unconscious habit, to be sort of shaping it around in swirls, and at times we'll use it to splash Grouper to keep a little hydration there.
I feel like that's a little bit of their love language.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Just walking along, water whipping Grouper.
Why did you have to take it in that direction?
Have you met Sen?
Sprinting!
All I can imagine though is like
Moisturize me.
there's the girlfriends that like to bite their partner.
I'm
And then
just
there's
saying.
Ella that's just splashing.
I'm just saying I'm disappointed that the best you could think of was water whipping and not a squirting joke.
That's because I was going for a different angle, obviously.
You're the best, babe. You always make me so wet.
Yes.
All right. So,
This is just luxury. Just traveling like this.
on a 58, the first day, relatively uneventful. Do you all want to camp by the river, or do you want to try to find a slightly more hilly area to camp in?
We should go as far away from the water as possible. I am absolutely joking. We're definitely camping by the river. As close to the river as possible.
I feel like camping away from the river creates problems for Grouper.
I think we're camping on the riverbank itself.
I feel like for Grouper, it's just like
sleep in the river. Yeah,
you just like put a stake and a rope on the shore, tie it to Grouper, just toss Grouper in the river, and let Grouper just sleep while attached to it.
If we're settling down,
yeah. First aid, uneventful.
Grouper would like to try to catch us something to eat from the river.
Okay. Go ahead. What skill would you like to use for this?
I would like to use my proficiency with fishing tackle, with which I have advantage.
Go ahead. Make a fishing check.
A 21.
Okay.
I am curious, Grouper. Do you have like the Outlander background?
No, I am a fisher.
Okay.
Specifically, the fisher background. With 21, you're able to catch enough fish to feed everybody. So nobody has to partake of their own rations unless they desire to. Interestingly, you do also you fished in the river enough that you know that occasionally odd things will just wash down, things that no one can really explain where they come from. In this particular case, you also catch a odd bit of metal that got tangled up in your line at one point.
Okay.
It's about, you would measure it at about hang on. I have a measuring tape. I can give you exact estimation rather than using my fingers. You would measure it at about 8 inches long and about 3 inches wide. With not very like thick, just relatively thin, like less than an inch in thickness. Smooth on all sides. The color of it's just odd sort of like greenish white, like a greenish steel color. It would look like an ingot if it wasn't so thin.
Okay.
You found a slightly tall smartphone.
Nashka, I found this in the water. You should probably take a look at it. I mean, it would be wild if this is the kind of thing that you were looking for. But I mean, if we can find it just fishing, I don't know. Why don't you take a look at this?
Grouper walks over,
I'll take
web feet flapping on the ground.
You can
Nashka.
See if I can identify this piece.
Do you have craftsman tool or any sort of crafting tools as a proficiency?
Yes. As dwarf culture, I have proficiency with smith's tools even before I get proficiency with all tools.
Cool. So go ahead and give me smith's tools with intelligence.
Can I help with Tinker's tools?
If you want to come up and try to help, you can. You
yeah,
get
pieces
top action.
Just watch. I would say over your shoulder, but given the height disparity, probably behind your knee.
With advantage, 18.
With 18, you don't know what material this is, but it does match some material that you've seen people having sort of like gathered or scavenged from the island before. You don't recall ever hearing anybody identify what it is, but this is a piece of something bigger. You can tell that this is something like a piece of something bigger that fell off somewhere along the line and then into the water. It is already relatively durable alloy of some kind. You know it's an alloy. You can tell that much. And you know it's more durable than anything that you've ever worked with before. You're not certain that you would be able to shape this into anything useful. But it might be worth something.
I might not be able to work with this, but it's definitely worth holding on to. I've only seen this alloy a handful of times, and it's probably part of something much larger.
maybe after we eat, I should get in there and swim around and see if there's something at the bottom of the river.
Yes, if this kind of material is just laying at the base of the river, it would be worth checking.
Peas is just gonna reach up a hand in the direction of the thing.
Oh yeah, Notchka will let them take a look at it. Does it
Just
bear
gonna-
a material match to the hand?
No, it does not.
Peas is gonna spend the evening hyper focusing on this thing.
So it's a little like plate of metal. I see you got a nat 1 on your cook utensils, Grouper.
Yeah, not great.
What you've discovered is that the fish that come from the Squote River are not typically good eating, mostly because there are, as far as you're aware, at least there are no lakes on the island. Everything just sort of like flows from an underwater spring out and down, and so what few river fish that there are tend to be really like tough and sturdy and dense. It's kind of like biting into it. Like most of the fish that you find in the river here are mostly bone and scale and very little meat.
Okay.
So you do your best. The food is edible still, but it's not great. In fact, it's not even good. In fact, it's just bad. But it is edible.
Cooper sort of looks up from trying to prepare it, says,
Gang, I'm real sorry. I guess I'm not used. I'm more used to what we pull out of the sea, the river fish. I did my best, y'all. I'm gonna keep working on it, but maybe we ought to just keep this stuff for fish jerky. But I just want to apologize to everybody in advance. Not my best work.
Oh, that's okay, babe.
When rationing
Not food.
sustenance. Right, no, actually, wrong. This is the wrong verbiage. She would have gotten it from her father. When rationing sustenance, there's no reason to complain about taste.
Well, I tell you what. I'm gonna keep trying to do better, but I am gonna go in and take a look, see if I can find any more of that metal. Does anybody want to come with me? And he'll look around at. I would assume Ella and Davina are the other two amongst us who can breathe underwater. Right. Tenebris
He
does
can't come
not.
in the river with you, but he's going to come and wade like 3 inches deep and watch as best he can.
Yeah, Davina's definitely gonna go in the river.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with.
Right?
And Flop will come as well.
All right. So you all can give investigation checks. Those of you that are going into the river.
Woo!
I assume that does not include peas.
No.
I'm really high or low today.
Yeah.
No, it says for our listeners at home, I went from a natural 1 on my cooking check to a natural 20 on my investigation.
Jeremy, that's really funny after
I
last
got
night.
that one on the investigation. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it really is.
Ella's distracted looking
Yes.
at her boyfriend in there. We get back in there.
It's all the flexing.
I've got to say, I'm terribly sorry about how that dinner worked out.
I can't respond.
I know, it's so hard.
Just keep laughing too.
I realized the actual in-universe reference. When he's underwater, he turns into Gilmore.
Yeah.
It's,
A little bit.
it's just absolutely mortifying. I try to be just bring such a bit of dazzle to things that it just, I'm really disappointed in myself. But come, let's see what we can find down here at the bottom.
It's fine. Nobody's worried about it. It happens.
Speaking of bottoms, I can tell you're enjoying the view, babe.
Guys, I'm right here.
I know. I'm sorry, Davina. You know how we do.
I know, and I'm
I
not.
know.
Worried.
So with a 17, Davina, you don't find anything else. As far as you can tell, it must have just been something that was wafting downstream and just happened to get caught on the line.
Mhm.
Grouper, similarly, you don't find anything else. You do find There does seem to be something stuck in like underneath the mud of the river. Something that must have been flowing downriver at one point, got caught, and then just got buried. And there is like a metal spike of a different kind of metal than the alloy earlier, but it's sort of like coming out of the side of the riverbed and attached to something deeper in the mud.
By the spires, you two, I think I've found something here.
I love how the underwater accent's getting heavier every time.
It's also
you
changing
talk.
accents. That's the funny part.
Yes.
I'm blaming the migraine.
Fair.
Absolutely fair. What'd you find?
I'm not sure. It's very spiky.
Also, did my nat 1 lead to anything interesting, or am I just lost?
No, you've been utterly distracted by Grouper at this point.
That is fair.
No, you're level 0 characters. If the nat 1 leads to something interesting, you might just die.
I fail to see the issue.
I'll try cautiously to clear some of the mud away, if we can. Is the current too strong for us to kind of hold ourselves in place?
You're actively having to swim against the current while looking. If you were to stop, it's about at its deepest. The depth changes and fluctuates as it goes, but at its deepest,
roughly where we're at, is it like wading height, or is it like
no,
than
like
most people
where
stand?
the thing that Grouper has found right now is about 10 feet down.
Okay.
It's not like you can get to a certain point wading, but not at the deepest part.
Is the spike sharp on the edges?
Can Peas see that they've settled on one spot down there?
Yeah, you can tell that the bubbles are coming from a certain. The river's not perfectly clear, so you can't really get an eye on them perfectly, but you can generally tell where they're at. Yeah.
Then Peas is gonna check and see if any of our land party members has rope. By just saying rope.
Does Nashka or Tenebris have rope?
And yeah, Najka definitely has rope, considering what she needs to do today, or well, in this journey. So she'll walk over, start unwinding some rope.
Grouper, yes, it does seem to be sharp. It seems to be like it looks like it's sort of like almost like a scythe blade to a degree as far as shape and sharpness is concerned. So it's like it's just a sharpened spike protruding from the mud.
So it doesn't seem like it would be a good idea to hold on to it, and it probably wouldn't be a conducive surface to tie something to.
No.
Right?
I mean, assuming that it's kept an edge. It might not have kept an edge. You're not sure.
Okay. Is there any river grass? Can I try taking a piece of river grass and sort of sliding it down the
You could
edge part?
get some weeds and yeah, it just cuts right through.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Babe, Davina, both of you stand back. It looks fairly sharp. I want to make sure no one gets hurt. Maybe I should let them know back on shore what we found.
Do you need some help with that?
If you have any ideas of a good way to excavate around it safely, that would be wonderful.
Davina will look at the area.
While you're doing that, Grouper will swim up to the top, just pop his head up and go, "We found something down there," and then splash back down.
And then plop, there's the end of the rope.
Which begins to rapidly go downriver.
Well, we're holding the other end.
I know you're holding the other end. But it's like it doesn't sink is what I'm indicating.
Can Flop get it and swim it out to us?
Sure, absolutely.
Nashka is just like holding the spool, just letting out enough slack for it.
So what specifically are you looking for, Holly?
Sorry, eating at the same time. If there's any way we can dig around it,
okay.
Try to loosen it.
Actually, I have a thought. How big is it?
The spike itself.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's about 2 feet in length, just sort of protruding from the mud.
So if I shape water to move the water away from it, that should give, in theory, reduce the pressure on it and make it easier to dig around, to remove.
Yeah, you could try to make like a current buffer so that the current
Yeah.
isn't. Yeah, you could
Just have the
focus on
water
that.
flow completely around, give it basically a pocket of air.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, you
He's can suggest this, but I was hoping that the rope could do something similar.
Yeah.
Be like something to hold people against the current.
Yeah, no, you could absolutely like as long as you're basically concentrating on shape water for every
Yep.
round. Then yeah, you could just spend your focus keeping
Perfect.
buoying the currents off to one side, basically.
Yep. Yeah. She stays there, sort of suspended in the water, and is just focusing on moving and shaping the water away from the spike.
And Davina, shall we try to get it up and out of there?
If possible.
Sorry, yeah. What were you looking for specifically, Holly?
Just if there's an area that we can dig underneath it to like loosen it.
Like you could dig on either side or around it. There's plenty of mud. I didn't know if you were looking for something specific to
is
use
it is it also like, is there more of it? Because you said it's like
it definitely feels
out.
It definitely feels like it's attached to something. Like there's something under the mud.
Okay. Davina's going to turn into her seal form and try to like dig to see what it's attached to, basically.
Okay, does your seal form have a burrow speed?
I don't think so.
How does turning into a thing with flippers instead of fingers help you dig?
I just thought it would help with underwater.
You have a pointed nose and powerful neck.
Yeah.
I'm just checking. So you shift into your and start slapping away the mud.
Flop will help if Flop can give it advantage.
Sure. Go and give me an athletics check with advantage in your seal form. So using the seal strength.
Don't worry, we'll get this unsealed.
Nope.
Not allowed.
Wait, athletics with advantage, you said?
Do you have this? Yeah, do you have the stats of the seal that you turn into?
I think I've already added I don't know. I need to look at that.
I have seal stats, if that's helpful. I have Flop stat.
Guys, I know certain things do go up when I turn into
your strength stays exactly the same, so
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So with a 13, you and Flop begin to sort of try to excavate this, whatever it is. You find that there is a large metal, it's sort of like a curved something of metal that the spike is attached into. As you begin sliding them away, it looks like there were at one point more of these spikes on this, whatever it is. Because you find another spot further down that has like a broken off piece. You're not able to fully excavate it though, which is a 13 athletics, because even though the current is being debuffed, there is still flowing water past you, and so as you move mud away, more mud just rolls down until it stops, and without any sort of tools or anything to form an actual block that would force the mud off to one side, it's getting recovered eventually.
Wait, if she found a spot that's not sharp, can Grouper just grab the rope and tie it to it?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
There's not enough clearance underneath it yet to get a rope under it. Because so the spike is here, and you're finding more metal around it, showing that it has a much larger base, or it's attached to something much larger.
Okay. I think we're onto something, but maybe we should go back to the surface and discuss it with the rest of the people.
That sounds like a good idea.
All right.
Good work, both of you. We'll get this figured out. Don't worry.
So the three of you emerge from the water.
Great work with the rope, guys. That was a big help.
Looks marginally proud of himself.
I think we found where some of that metal's coming from.
Does it look like the piece we found before might have been like a broken off spike?
No, it's a different color.
Okay, all right.
But it's something interesting at least.
Yeah, but it's buried under the mud.
I assume the three of us can describe what
situation.
we all know on a meta level
Yeah.
about what's down there.
Hey, that sounds intriguing. DM, are there like, this is largely a plain, but are there like isolated trees here and there?
There are not near you though. They tend to be a little bit further away from the river.
Is there, basically Najka is trying to see if she could make a temporary break to try and like leverage, like with the assistance of why am I forgetting Jeremy's character's name?
Ella.
Ella Farah.
With the assistance of Ella, like using shape water to adjust current, also like make a physical wedge to create a space to basically allow more freedom to wipe mud away and get this thing more free.
I have a quarterstaff. I have like a tall walking stick. If that's useful.
Yeah, like a walking stick. Like if you were, you could gather some wood and like make like a physical barrier, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, like just like a break for the water with the assistance of Ella using
Yeah.
shape water to turn.
All
current.
three of the goblins will
Also,
help.
also with making a break, we can divert the mud from flowing back in on top
Yeah,
of it.
that's the important part, is to stop the mud from continuing to flow into it.
Grouper will actively help with all good suggestions. I have a dog that sounds desperately in need of a trip out, so I will be back. Grouper and Flop will help however y'all need them.
So yeah, Najka's going to try and fashion a break, make enough space that theoretically, with the help of shape water, Najka might be able to get down there and start forcing stuff aside.
If it requires a roll, Peas will provide advantage.
Tenebrous is proficient with carpenter's tools.
No.
Hey.
Well, then we'll go ahead and have a carpenter's tool. This will be it'll be an intelligence-based carpenter's tools with advantage for all the help, because it's not like you get like physically putting the things together isn't going to be an issue. It's putting together in the right proportions and the right alignment.
Yeah, it's making the right arrangement of a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. I can certainly make the parts. Switch the.
Hey.
Here.
All right, an 18. So yeah, with an 18, you are able to make sort of you're able to tie enough things together that you could have somebody help you sink in the mud on the other side of the object to help making clearing it a little bit easier. So yeah, you sink that down. Who's going to try clearing it this time?
If possible, if with the help of shape water sort of keeping the current away and enough time, Nasha could try and get down there and try and clear some stuff out. Because she's also got tools for this.
Grouper will certainly help, but will also is happy to let Nashka take point if she feels that she's the best suited. It certainly sounds
Mostly
like
just that I have a high strength value.
Yeah. That's I was trying to avoid using the
proficiency in
the meta
athletics.
term, but yeah.
I'd also argue that we're going excavating for minerals. We probably also have a shovel.
Yeah, we have shovels and picks and other tools and stuff.
So a shovel's probably also useful for this.
All right. So, go ahead and give me what's your Constitution score, Nashka?
14.
Because you will be having to hold your breath, because Elifir is using control water to keep the current off you. Which
So, but
doesn't-
I can hold my breath for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you hold your breath for a couple minutes, so you're fine. Go ahead and give me an athletics check with advantage, considering that we've sort of set everything up here, and also you've got people helping you stay in place.
Motherfucker.
9.
How is Nashka at swimming?
as good as anyone else who's proficient with athletics, so decent, but not
Okay.
like underwater natural.
Yeah. So the trick that you're having right now is that even though the current is being largely diverted, you're still trying to dig underwater, which is not an easy thing to do in the first place. So with a 9, you're clearing some mud, but you're not quite getting very far. It's going to take you a little bit of time, longer than you can hold your breath. But you go up, get some breath, go back down. It takes you about an hour, but eventually, you manage to get a rope tied around whatever it is. Everyone gets back to the surface, and you haul out, and you eventually haul up this large appendage. It looks almost like a metal iteration of a praying mantis's claw.
Yeah.
But several times oversized, obviously, for a praying mantis. This looks like it would have been, like, if this was attached to a praying mantis, the mantis would be as large as Najka. Made
Whoa.
of this sort of dark blue tinted metal. Yet another alloy, Najka, not the same alloy as the small plate that you found.
Is this one I'm more familiar with?
No, this one you've never seen before. You're getting the idea, though, now of what your dad was talking about, how if you follow the river through the Tuarnian jungle, you'll probably find the things you need to make yourself. Because this is just in the river on the plains where people have been scavenging.
Yeah,
in the forest where nobody's been scavenging, you're going to potentially find a lot.
Find the rest of the praying mantis.
I have a dumb question, but what dumb in that I should have asked this earlier, but did we just bring basically a hand cart, or did we bring a beast of burden and a larger wagon?
I believe currently we're all carrying large backpacks.
Backpacks, yeah.
Okay. All right.
It was
the weight of what we need to carry distributed amongst all of us should be easy to just carry in bags.
Although this one's close enough to our start that we could probably leave it and then pick it up on the way back.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly light, honestly, as you pick it up.
I was about to say, like, this seems like it's basically a scythe in my hands at this point.
More of a sickle.
Like
more of a sickle
with a hook.
It's more of a. It would be more of a sickle, but yes.
Sickle. So yeah.
But it's huge.
On the way back, we could probably.
It is huge for reference of it being a praying mantis arm.
Okay.
It would be like size of it, like a slightly oversized.
It's a 2-foot curved blade on like a brief amount of arm.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like a.
It's more of a comma
attached to the arm.
Yes.
I was just picturing it bigger with how much trouble we had getting it out of the water.
You're all small, or at least all you in the water were small. But yes, it is. A slightly oversized sickle. So yes, like a comma or something.
Are you saying small as in just in a general term, or
as in grouper
in classification?
Grouper is mechanically small.
Right. Yeah. One of us was small at least. Yeah. I am medium.
Neither Ella nor.
That's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, like Davina is short for a human, but not small.
Not arguing that should be different in that I'm just clarifying Ella's size for everybody else.
Peace finds this fascinating.
It's the orphans that are small.
Do we have any sense of what this might be from?
Give me an Arcana or a History check.
Okay.
I can do Arcana.
It's fun to play a character where those aren't negative.
All right.
I am learning that Pete's favorite subject in school was history.
All of you, with that, since you got a 10 or higher, since you got a 10 or higher, you're assuming some sort of construct. With the 16 from Najka, you're not familiar with a sort of like grasshopper designed construct, but yeah, some sort of construct. This is definitely the arm of a machine at some point that got broken off somehow and then flowed downriver. Peas, same thing, yeah. arm of a construct that most likely got broken off somewhere further upriver. Drevian was 21. 21 Arcana specifically. This is you wouldn't know it to look at it, but this has a very similar aesthetic and sort of design functionality to the gauntlet that Meanie Manny is wearing. It's not the same thing, obviously, it didn't come off the same thing, but it looks like it might have been made around the same era.
Possibly part of a different Aormaton design kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do we know where Minnie found that?
Not as you've been told, no.
Okay. Is that obvious to any of the rest of us that it looks
no,
like it's similar?
only 10 of us.
Okay.
It's not easily identifiable as a similar thing, because it is such a different design.
Okay.
Pre-calamity automaton.
Oh.
Hmm.
On this,
That's second Aormaton piece that's been found around here.
That's fucking wild.
Something tells me we might be in for some interesting things in the jungle.
Was Twerpkala a big Aormaton location that anybody knows about?
Not that gets around. Certainly not what people come here to look around for.
have I ever seen stuff like this underwater off the coast?
No.
Okay. Is it a rational conclusion, if it would be fair for Grouper to think this too? Is it a rational conclusion that stuff like this may have washed downriver?
Yeah.
Okay. And so this, I know there's the split by Iorna, but does that mean they're largely coming from the Farosh Mountains?
Yeah, the river comes down from the Farosh Mountains.
Okay. So Grouper says,
I mean, if this sort of stuff is in the river, I think we should keep eyes out below the surface as we go up the scoil towards Iorna. But if it's washing down, I know your dad said you gotta go to the jungle, but at least for future reference, maybe worth looking up in the mountains as well.
Well, the mountains were another place that he'd suggested, but the mountains are a place that people go to look for things. They go there for mining and picking, and so it's going to be fairly thoroughly dug through, basically.
Okay.
I mean, and also, let's be honest about. We all kind of want a chance to go down there, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and like I said, babe, I mean, think about this. There's a lot of there's the jungle and the mountains. That's a lot of adventuring to be had.
It's trying to sell it.
Sure is. I don't think we will see if we can get to all of it this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. But no rush.
So,
does the river from the Tuardian jungle merge with the river from Farosh, or is it just, or are they both?
So there's a weird thing. The river comes down from the Farosh Mountains and splits at Iorna, and then pours into the cleft.
mm-hmm.
The thing that no one has an explanation for is that the river from the jungle also pours into the cleft, which is not how rivers work.
Yeah, we want to go see that.
And Ardeglaze, if I'm saying that right.
Artiglace.
Artiglaze. What do we know about Artiglaze?
It is a. Hang on. What did I say? What did I
Is
say?
that
about
at the mouth? Is that at the mouth of the river, or is that just a similar location?
Artiglace is It is it's a set of ruins in the jungle that is known to be a like sort of a location of interest. It is at the, as far as anyone can tell, the river is coming from there, but no one has spent enough time in the jungle exploring to find out where or why or how.
Okay. And we have a map, right? So can we kind of be looking at this?
Yeah,
on
you
the
got
map?
a map.
Grouper, with one of his sort of broad fingertips, taps Arglaze, says, I'm going to be honest, thinking about the river, thinking about how things flow in, these things that are winding up here in the square probably aren't making it across the cleft, but I am really curious to see that and see how that's affecting the water. So, I mean, if we make it down that far, great. If not, always something to be left and come back to another time.
But if what we're finding here is coming from the Ferosh Mountains, what we'd be finding on the jungle side of the river would probably be washing down from Ardiglace.
How helpful, he points to the scythe. How helpful is this to you?
I mean, as far as a hacking material, I could probably use it fairly well in the jungle to clear brush, and if I can figure out how to work it, it's probably
Do you
very
touch
useful,
the blade at all?
Oh,
Well,
Peas has.
Is it
Peas
single
will.
bladed or double?
Huh?
Is it single blade or double blade?
Both sides are edged. Yeah, and if Peas touch the blade,
Peas is all over this thing.
instantly comes away with a nick. This thing is razor sharp. Still.
Peas doesn't care. This is awesome. Peas loves it.
And yeah, and Najka is sort of inspecting it, but she's very conscious of the blade and is just sort of like tapping the side of it rather than the blade.
What does Tenebrous prefer to be called? Does Tenebrous like to be called Tenebrous, or Ella called him Tenny?
That is 100% what Ella calls.
Yeah, I and I'm not correcting that at all. I'm just curious
No.
if that's the kind of thing that the rest of us have a sense that Tenebrous likes being called Tenny, or
I imagine Tenebrous probably found it weird, because I imagine half the time, because he's an apprentice shipwright, it's usually involving swearing when he's called.
okay.
I mean, fair.
What do your friends call you?
I don't know, what do you guys call them?
Penny.
Yeah, I think it might be
That-
Tenny.
Penny. I mean, that is what Ella calls.
Sorry, Nick caught on.
I'm so sorry. I'm not really that sorry.
Yeah, as soon as Ella started that, Gatsby started calling you Tenny as well.
Tenebrous is probably just like, you know what? At least they're not swearing at me.
Right.
Yeah, Tenny is a lot better
you know
than Tenny is a lot better than Shitmouse.
Yeah. Fuck Spain.
This is I think probably like a one-on-one that they have had at the dock, where Grouper would have said, "So I mean, are you good with Tenny? Do you prefer Tenebrous? Anything else you'd like better?"
You know, whatever can get my attention. It's probably good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I just want to make sure. Okay. So hopping back,
I'm just
then-
picturing Grouper at some point in that voice saying Shitmouse. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Tenny.
That's just, you spend enough time around the fucking docks. Hey, Tammy, you said you were a little bit familiar with this. Does this the fact that it holds an edge like this? What is it about it? Because I've never seen metal that's been down underwater for as long as this thing seems to have been down there, and still this sharp. That's what is it? Magic?
I mean, it's pre-calamity, so it's pretty wild stuff, regardless.
Anything pre-calamity's got combinations of alloys and magical crafting that is, at the moment, yet to be rediscovered as far as modern smiths are like.
I mean, that's like Mini Manny's glove, like that can shoot lightning, even though it's just as old.
Yeah. And Nashka, you mentioned part of the trick then is figuring out if you can work it. I mean, if it's this sturdy,
Does anybody have any idea how to reforge this stuff?
That's going to be the thing: is if whether I can get a fire hot enough to get it to melt. B, if I can do that without losing the alloy composition. C, if I can then, even if I get it hot enough to shape, if I have a tool that won't break in the shaping.
Is the Dock Warden mechanically, is she a druid?
She's not a player class. The closest thing she would be is actually a cleric.
Okay. Do we know if she has heat metal or if Father Martin does?
You don't know. You're not sure.
All right. Okay.
You have an inkling that Father Martin probably doesn't. You've never seen him do
Okay.
anything other than bless people and heal people.
Got it. Okay.
I know my father runs the hottest forge on the island, but it's still a question of what might be usable there. But I'd like to keep an eye on it and see if it can be anything done with.
Well, if you think this is the stuff that we're looking for, and Grouper kind of looks around at everybody else. I mean, this is helpful, right? At least we know what it, in general, what we're trying to find.
And we know where to look for it. It's in the water.
Yeah.
That's easy.
I think trawling the river all the way up into the jungle is going to be our best bet for finding usable material.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I like that plan a lot.
You're like,
well, let's get some rest and move on.
Here now.
Sounds good.
Yep. I should have two. Yeah, here you go. Right about there now. All right. Do you set a watch?
Yeah.
Taking back to your adventuring 101 lessons.
Right.
Always set a watch.
Father Martin definitely at one point. Doesn't really matter if you're in a place that's relatively safe or not. Never trust that someone with ill intention won't be hiding just around the corner, waiting for you to fall asleep.
Always set watches.
Always set watches.
Is
Who's going on first watch?
Najka has
Ella a
dark
night
vision
owl
and-
or a morning person?
Najka has dark vision and we'll take one of the night watches.
Meanie Manny will take
Are we
it.
o- So 2 questions. Are we only having one person per watch?
I mean, we can have 2 people per watch.
I was
Easy.
going to say, we can have one of the 3 good goblins on 3 of the watches.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, also fair.
I don't feel
My
like
second question would be: Are Ella and Grouper allowed to be on the same watch?
no,
I was gonna
Could
be a
say, yeah,
problem.
no.
no. Meanie Manny will put his foot down.
What? We'll
But
trust me.
it's fine.
For
We'll
conflict
see,
of
yeah.
interest.
Let's
I
not
don't understand what the
let's
problem is.
not play that game, shall we?
We
It's
definitely
fine.
won't-
I can stay awake during their watch.
Want to stay
We're not
up
good.
else's watch, you can.
Trust me, we won't fall asleep.
Grouper winks at Ella.
First of all, I want to know how you know what kind of games we play. Second of all,
You
What
might not
games you play?
fall
Well, do
asleep,
those
but I
on
feel
your
like
own.
none of us will either.
fine.
I love this. This is great. So who's on the first watch?
Tenebrous will take the first watch.
Tenebris and
Meanie Manny.
Tenebris and Meanie Manny. All right. Perception checks. As the rest of you bunk down for the evening. How is Grouper bunking down for the evening?
With Ella.
Yeah.
I mean, until it's time for one of us to have a watch, absolutely.
Now,
It's fine. It's underwater. Nobody can hear anything.
yeah, I was gonna say, I need you all to let me finish the sentence before reacting, okay?
Best way to start a sentence.
Grouper has a net, and I am hoping that we can use that to establish essentially an underwater hammock in the current, where Grouper and Ella could basically sleep suspended in the water by the net.
Sleep.
Eventually.
Mostly.
As long as it's not on your watch.
Yeah, no, you could use a net to make a hammock.
Okay.
It's not
Davina
gonna-
will not be entering the water tonight.
It's not going to be super comfortable, but it will do the job.
It's like you just have to wait for a certain amount of time.
I picture it as like, a weighted blanket. I feel like that's kind of what the current does.
People like
Yeah.
that hammocks aren't comfortable to like sleep in like all night, and I would like to beg to differ. So this might be
the difference is though this isn't a hammock. This is a net that is being used as a hammock.
What is a hammock but a net that is being
Yes,
used?
but
Typically, a hammock
but
doesn't
more to the
have.
point.
Typically, a hammock doesn't have evenly spaced square holes.
Yes, it does.
Some
Have
hammocks
you
do.
seen a
Two
hammock?
things.
Wait a minute.
Two
What the hell
things.
kind of hammock are you talking about?
Most of the hammocks
Two
I've
things.
ever slept in are
One-
solid material.
One, the
What?
difference between a hammock and a net, to be fair to Sen, is the material that they are made out of.
Yes,
And
but
hammocks
I
are nets are distinctly less comfortable. On the flip side of that, we don't have gravity so much as a problem with that, and that will be the problem with the material.
You do have current though, which I think
It's
is
current. It's not. It doesn't seem to be a super strong current, though, right?
I mean it's strong enough
It's
that you
very.
can't just
It's pretty strong. Yeah. It's strong.
I mean,
so the reason why it's strong is because the entire island is slanted. So it's effectively a downhill current.
I mean, the hammock that we had at our old house was not a canvas hammock. It was a full like net hammock.
I don't remember.
But
That's probably why you think they're uncomfortable.
I mean,
I
don't
enjoyed. I
I like
sleeping
sleeping in
all
those.
the
They're
time.
great.
yeah, like most my
Yeah,
understanding, most
the
hammocks
big
are
difference is
canvas hammocks.
hammock ropes are much thicker and
Yeah.
softer than fishing net.
Yeah.
Generally, yes.
I will assume that this is not the first time.
Oh, no.
that-
You have
No,
natural
it has-
armor. You have natural armor. It doesn't hurt you.
Yeah. Well, I was also going to say it's probably not the first time they have camped. So while it didn't occur to me, Craig, not being a fish man, I feel like Grouper would probably be used to, now that I'm thinking about it, taking a shovel, digging a little bit of an inlet, and making kind of a shallow pool at the river's edge if
Yeah.
the banks would allow such.
Yeah, you can do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I said,
Also,
the trick with the currents is mostly that because it's down a hill, so it's much stronger than it would be in a normal river.
Also, I would like to disbelieve the assertion that you are not a fish man, Craig.
also to be fair,
Hey, Jeremy,
Uh,
guilty as charged.
well, now I regret my life choices.
the way that like actual aquatic things sleep in rivers is typically if they can breathe underwater, they will just go to the floor of the river because the current passes over them at that
Yes.
primarily.
Anyways,
So there's also that option.
I'm kind of in love with the idea of Grouper like a little nurse shark at the bottom.
so, anyways, we had 2 perception checks for the first watch. With 10 out of 17, mostly you're hearing the river bubbling, odd bubbling occasionally, specifically centered around where Grouper is either underwater or not underwater, depending on what has been settled on.
Well, underwater in both cases, just
Okay.
one might be less current.
That's current.
You do see
I
occasional.
was no sell it until you pointed it out.
In the distance, you do see that there are a few packs of wild animals just like on the horizon, not anywhere near, but you can see that there are potential dangers out in the plains, just not near the river at the moment. But otherwise, nothing really comes close to the camp. Second watch. Who's on second?
Davina will take second.
And
Who's
Oh.
on first?
Najka?
Dark vision.
Speaking of Ella and Grouper, third base.
Oh,
Davina was going to ask if Grouper wanted to be on second watch with her as I just moved forward from that.
if they're not busy, we have to separate them.
That's what first watch is for.
Yeah. We're good. The
First
sound
watch
the
time
spawning
is
pool helped cool
yeah.
down.
Yeah, second watch, Davina and Grouper.
You stick your head in the water to call for Grouper. It tastes
No. Get a stick and poke around the water. I'm not sticking my head there.
Fair. Grouper,
Where's Grouper's
you're
walkie stick?
I
There it
feel
is.
like Davina's known him long enough. I feel like she has learned this lesson the bad way.
You gotta knock before you come in. I was spawning.
Oh no,
God.
no! I can't. The thought that just came to mind. It's not Davina that goes to get Grouper. Tenebris goes to get Grouper.
Mhm.
Like eyes closed because he can't see underwater anyways. Just underwater and starts babbling in Aquan.
Yeah. I mean, it's been what? You were on watch for 2 hours. I
Yeah,
appreciate
like-
everybody's vote of confidence in Grouper here, but I think at this point, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at this point, Grouper.
Yeah, absolutely.
The water.
That means that Meanie
Would you-
Manny went to get Davina and reassured you that you don't have to get Grouper.
Would you rather us? So would you rather us assume 2 hours is the full length, or would you rather us assume 5 seconds? Because it's only
You can assume
one of the
whatever
two
the fuck
extremes.
you want.
Anyways, second watch, Grouper and Davina.
Okay.
Perception checks.
Fallout 4 soundtrack 60-minute band starts playing in the distance.
Yeah. That's a 19 on my con save.
I'm sorry, what are we making here?
Perception
No,
checks.
you're
Okay.
yeah, so we'll sort of
Oh, cool.
sleep well, darling. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Already out.
Early 2
Give
hours.
you a little
No,
kiss. I'm out.
Hey, Davina, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. It's a nice night.
Mm-hmm.
A little sleepy.
Well, maybe you should have slept.
Oh, you know, I'll sleep later. I'll sleep later.
Mm-hmm.
There's what do you think about what we found?
I mean, I think it's convenient if we can just find stuff underwater.
Yeah. I think you did a really great job. I like how
What is Davina? How does Davina refer to her seal form? Does she call it like selking out? Does she call it?
Not till now.
that was
Just,
so great how you selfed out like that.
just,
Out.
just her seal form, but there's no fancy name to it.
Okay, all right.
Sealed out.
That was really great. Flop loves it when you do that, and I thought it was really impressive. That was really great.
She'll kind of stare at him because, like, they've known each other a long time. She does this a lot.
I know.
Like, she'll just turn into a seal and, like, race with Flop, like, all the time.
The flop loves it when you do that is definitely a thing that is sort of like well established. So it just sort of reaffirms.
Yes.
But it just I assume she doesn't do I mean, maybe I shouldn't assume, but I assume she doesn't do a lot of like salvage work as a seal, but maybe she does.
No.
Okay. So that's more what he's commenting on.
Gotcha.
Is the cleverness of using it to do that.
Nah, she just plays around and swims and races and stuff and catches fish.
I'd really like to do that. Let's see. Be able to shift like that, that's really something.
Thank you.
With a 10, Grouper, you're kind of focused entirely on the conversation right now. With a natural 20, Davina, Yeah, you're also seeing that there's some more nocturnal pack animals roaming around the plains, but nothing gets close. Relatively safe.
What sort? What animals?
Hang on.
Sorry, Sen. You have to be very careful around
That's fair.
Grouper when you
Well,
describe
that's fair.
animals.
That's fair.
If they're too far away for us to tell, that's fine too.
Are there
I would
wolves
say
in Tuatakala?
no. They're definitely too far away for you to get a good look at them. But there are some you can tell from the silhouette that there are some caribou isn't the correct term, but that sort of antlered fauna.
Okay.
That there are some antlered animals that seem to be moving around at night. There are some night birds that are moving from distant tree to distant tree, because the trees on the plains are fairly well spaced out. And other smaller creatures that are moving around much closer to the ground that are even more difficult to tell what they are.
Okay. Thanks.
Third watch.
I feel like third watch is probably Najka and Peas.
And Gesby.
Najka and Gesby.
Okay.
Yep.
Not
Okay.
Pete and Gesby, both of them.
Oh, all three of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say Najka and Peas can probably like share their mutual special interest over weird metals.
What? I make perception
Yeah,
check for there.
he's just spending the entire time geeking out about the scythe.
Yeah. And it's very clear that while Najka is more muted, she's just as interested as Peas is.
I mean, Peas doesn't talk unless he has to. They're both barely exhibiting emotions, and it's a lot for them.
So you can tell, extremely sharp, extremely durable, extremely light is the thing that strikes you as the most odd.
Dice are not doing well for me right now.
Metal that, for it to have gotten stuck, it must have been going down at a pretty good, decent clip, because this is very light. You're not certain what. Just if you were to just drop this in the river, you would expect it to end up in the ocean. You wouldn't expect it to hit the ground that hard, enough to stick in the mud, as deep as it was.
Peas like plays with it in the dirt to try to simulate what sort of situation may have occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is what is happening during watch.
Yeah.
And towards the end, Gesby just starts playing music quietly.
Is Gesby going to make a perception check?
That's what she does to pass time. What?
Is Gesby going to make a perception check?
Oh yeah, I forgot. They're Peas is too focused on the scythe.
Oh no.
My dice are not treating me well right now.
With a 7 and a 0, the group of you really focus in on the things you found in the river until morning. Sun comes up.
Yeah.
Gesby will start waking people up.
Take a crack at trying to catch something tastier. Get a little breakfast fry up going. 13.
With 13, nothing seems to be biting this morning.
Okay. All right.
That's what we
Well,
have rations for.
yeah. Can I try to cook up? Will anyone help him cook?
Sure.
Najka will give a hand.
Okay. Cool.
Tenebris and Najka,
Yeah.
go ahead and cook with advantage.
Hey, a little better this morning.
The rations taste infinitely better than the cooked whatever fish that was.
You know, the more I think about it, now that we know what's in the river, let's probably stick to the saltwater fish. I'm worried about micro aormaton content in these fish that we're pulling out.
These fish are full of micro-automatons.
He looks a little disappointed that you might stop fishing.
Well, I mean, we can keep.
Let me see if I can pick up. Does he say anything or just look disappointed?
No, Pease doesn't talk.
Okay.
I was
Do I know him well enough to pick up? Pease is he him?
Yeah.
Do I
you
know
can
him well enough to pick up on that? What's that?
You can know him well enough to pick up on it.
Okay. With 18 insight, Gruber said,
I mean, we're not going to give up on it. It sounds like there's a lot of great stuff to find in there. But you want to help me fish next time?
Pease is undecided.
Has Pease ever been fishing?
No.
How about I show you how next time? And then you can decide if you want to try.
Okay.
Jack, you said that Pease was disappointed. I thought you were going to say Pease was disappointed to not be filled with automatons.
I mean, Pease might be into that. We don't know. He doesn't talk. He hasn't told us.
As you break camp and begin to continue on your way, heading upriver, that's where we're going to take our break for the evening. So, those of you that are watching, please stay tuned to these commercial messages. And remember, when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, move around, do whatever you need to do. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. And we're back. A dinosaur story. Silence. So, you pack up and continue. Someone roll me a D100.
I'll do it this time.
No.
Yeah.
Competition. 25.
25. Oh, where you going?
Okay. So after about you're getting close to Yorna, you can actually see it looming up further uphill. You can sort of see where the island sort of plateaus out for there to be something built on it. When you when your path is sort of stalled, because there is a herd of antlered animals. I'm just gonna say deer. Because I don't know.
That is the
Antelope?
group name.
What was that?
Deer is the group name. Unless you want more specific, and then it's Servine.
I think since we're talking about
Deer.
like what animal could be elk, could be deer.
Yeah.
Just
Elk
don't make
are
it
a type-
moose.
Elk,
Just don't
moo-
make it moose.
Elk, moose, mule deer, whitetail deer are all called deer.
Deer it
Deer
is
are
then.
generally, yeah.
Moose are legitimately the scariest animals in existence.
A group of
They
deer. A group of deer have occupied the river while they are eating and drinking in your path. You can go around them if you so desire, or you could try to engage with them in whatever manner you would wish to engage with them. But that is the
think we
event that you have run
can
into.
take the brief detour to go around the deer.
I'm good with going around the deer.
Have I I'm sorry. I looked up just in time to see your dog, Jack, completely occluding your face, and it definitely looked like your dog said that.
I'm wild shaped.
Fantastic. I'm very jealous. Has Grouper had a chance to study these deer before? I don't know how common they are on the island.
They're relatively common. It depends on how much Grouper has spent outside of Skrios.
I just like to spend some time watching them as we go past. But yeah, I agree. Going around them seems the right course here. Also, I would like to have been dipping into the river occasionally and looking for more metal as we walked along.
Sure. You're not spotting. You don't make any rolls. You're not going to spot anything else at the moment. There doesn't seem to be a lot of that sort of debris, and you know from previous experience that, honestly, getting most people that sort of trawl the river for scavenge and things like that on the island, don't come back with much. So getting two pieces statually one after the other is relatively rare an occurrence to have happen. So.
Grouper's an optimist.
But eventually, as you circle around the deer, you make your way up to, but sort of as the sun is beginning to set, you make your way into Aorna. Aorna is the farming community. It is a large, sprawling, no building higher than a single story town that is walled in. It's got sort of like a wood picket barricade just surrounding it entirely, mostly as a way of deterring any of the more hostile wild animals on the island. There hasn't been, as far as any of you recall, there haven't been bandit problems on the island in years. So there's not really a need, like a more militaristic need for this sort of a wall other than just wild animals. The farmland itself spreads even further out, though. There isn't a whole lot west of the town, but east, just all along the river, both north and south, there is just farms sprawling out. This is where Aorna is the center of agriculture on the island.
Okay.
And the river, you can stop in Aorna for the night if you want, or you can continue on down the river however you please. There is.
Would it be possible to? The river starts to go down toward, like, starts to flow towards the cleft, right?
Yes.
Could we either acquire or put together a raft and just take it down the river the rest of the way to go faster?
You could, yeah.
Cooper will happily help you build one.
Yeah, I feel like between Grouper, Najka, and
There are
These
river
will help.
barges.
Tenebris.
There are river barges that occasionally go down the river towards Skrios. You could theoretically bargain for one or just build one.
Are there places to stay in Aorna?
Yeah. Not a lot. It's not. This is not a trade community. People don't typically come up here from
Sure.
Skrios, but anyone going to Creedom would have to stop in Aorna. So there are a couple of just taverns and inns that could be rested at the fork of the river.
Is there
Guess he's
much
down
in the
to
way of
Rest
forestry?
here and look for a barge.
Yeah, if we can like borrow or just buy a barge to head down that river.
Yeah, go ahead and give me. Oh, go ahead.
If it's getting late, yeah, why don't we stay over and then use the morning to strike up some trade talks?
Seems wise.
All right. Do you have the funds to buy rooms for the evening?
Yes.
I have 10 gold.
Okay, yeah, you definitely do. Let me pull this up real quick.
I have 23.
I have to put my gold in.
You might not have any gold, depending on your background.
I don't have any gold.
I had gold, I just forgot to put it in there.
Okay, good.
I might have gold that I forgot to put in there.
What's your background?
Faceless.
I don't know if Faceless gets gold.
I don't think so.
Always, you can feel free to check.
Ginsby's pretty sure one of her friends will cover her.
Oh, we will absolutely cover it. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Friends are great.
so it's just
you
a
do
silver.
get 10 gold as a Faceless.
Oh, there you go.
How much?
10 gold.
So it is a silver a night, silver fur room. So
I
deduct
assume
as you
Ella and
please.
Grouper get their own.
Mm-hmm.
The good
yes.
goblins aren't above sharing.
And there is a grouper you can request a bathtub be put in the room so that you can just
Oh,
sleep
yeah.
in the bathtub.
Awesome.
Najka will share a room with the good goblins.
Grouper's happy to plunk down a gold piece. That should cover, all of us.
I mean, with four silver change, yeah.
All right, that'll do.
This inn doesn't get a lot of travel. Is that correct?
Most Aorna doesn't get a lot of travel in general. Yeah, this is the inn that you're staying at right now is the Forks, which is literally an inn situated in the fork of the river.
Okay. I'll only ask for 2 silver back, and ask if we can get some tips on who would be the best go-to for a barge.
They'll ask for which way you're trying to go, and as soon as you tell them towards the cleft.
Yeah, we're headed for the cleft.
Most people don't take, and the innkeeper, most people don't take barges down to the cleft. It's when you get too close, it's difficult to get it back. If you're looking for honestly, you're probably better off trying to barter for the wood itself to make your own, and just expect not to get it back after you're done with it.
Sure.
How bad are the rapids coming up? Because I assume there are falls when it reaches the cleft.
Yeah, once it hits the cleft, it's pretty. It gets pretty choppy when you're in sight of the cleft. About, I'm trying to think of distances.
I'm also okay if you just say he tells us the distance.
Yeah, they'll tell you the relative distance, but where it starts to get pretty choppy for, ahead of the fall, which would indicate a place where you should stop.
Yeah, this is like stop before you get there and get off the raft.
And from the way he's talking, it sounds like your best bet, honestly, rather than trying to fight the current back, would you be to let the
Just
raft
abandon the
go?
wood, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let the raft go over the cliff.
There's a reason why ship traffic through the cleft is discouraged. One of them is because occasionally a raft will just go flying off the waterfall.
No. And I will certainly ask if I don't know this, but I will ask you before I ask the innkeep. Is the two walls are the only passage points, or is there a bridge by where the river hits the cleft?
The two walls are the only passage point.
Okay, all right. I was afraid of that. Thank you.
And
So we'll be without water for a while for Grouper.
Well, be without river. You can stock up on water, but you'll be without the river specifically.
Yeah.
grab
does
a
have
container of water for Grouper.
Yeah, well, Grouper specifically carries a cask of water with him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, with that information. Hey, let's call it a night, and then we'll see if we can't get some wood in the morning and lash something together.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yep.
You are, you have a relatively standard meal at the inn.
Cooked by someone other than us, so.
Cooked by someone other than you. Cheese, bread, wine. And yeah, rest in relative comfort.
Okay.
Is there anything I want to do on the second night?
I don't think we'll set a watch.
Keep our normal watches. Just don't have to worry as much about it, but still keep watches.
In the inn?
Yeah, you never know. That's one of the lessons of adventuring.
Do the doors lock?
They do. You don't have to keep a watch. It's up to you.
Why are we doing watches in an inn?
Esby does not think this is necessary.
Do you do watches at home when you go to sleep?
Yes.
Yes, it's so annoying.
I mean, I said that in character, but like, we're learning something new.
We live in Georgia.
I've been woken
Okay.
up a night more than
It's
once.
fair.
We live in Georgia. It's very important to keep a watch.
What's your
My
what's your
immediate-
dad's clan name again? I'm sorry, Drev. Please go ahead.
My immediate thought is like, I'm very paranoid, so yeah, sometimes I do keep watch at night.
My father's name was Flamesmith.
So, Grouper very quietly, but says to Ella, "I mean, you know, Mr. Flamesmith. Yeah, they probably do set watches at home."
I mean, okay, yeah. We don't need to do a watch in a hotel. No, she would say hotel. She would 100% say hotel.
This is definitely not a hotel.
No, it's actually my ma who's the one who's more stringent about watches, considering all things.
I mean, weird, but okay.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. You know what? We're all far from home. Whatever makes you feel the most comfortable.
I honestly don't give a shite what you guys do. I'll handle myself.
Okay. I mean, if you want company, but I'll help you out.
All right. So it sounds like largely not a watch happening.
No.
Yeah.
No,
You all
because
go to
we're
sleep.
normal people.
You all go to sleep.
I'm just waiting for one night they don't set a watch and something does happen.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that it's the wisest tactical choice. I'm just saying, as a fucking teenager.
Yeah, we're effectively kids on a school trip. Like,
Right.
not even kids on a school trip. It's kids on their first solo road trip.
First unsupervised vacation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is also notable that Ella did not do a watch the previous night.
Absolutely.
So
When they go to sleep, Gatsby plays a lullaby, and Pease sleeps curled up against her.
All right.
Do we know are they siblings? Do we know that for sure?
They seem to be.
I mean, that's certainly a conversation we could have had. Are they? I mean, I guess it's like how
They act as if they're siblings.
Okay.
As far as they are concerned, they are siblings.
Okay.
It's hard. To,
That's-
goblin physiology is varied and mutative enough that triplets don't necessarily look like triplets would in other species.
Well, they're also not the same age.
Yeah.
So they're not. They wouldn't be triplets anyway.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
talking
but-
about like in general. Like sometimes siblings and goblins are hard to differentiate, are hard to tell, but they seem to be acting like them.
And Grouper's not so much asking is like, are they biologically related? Just do they
act like
consider
siblings?
themselves siblings?
The answer is yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
Night passes. Najka, if you are staying up to keep a watch, give me a perception check.
She stays up for a bit, but not like forever.
Sorry, perception check.
20.
And 20, you hear the rowdy evening of a hardworking farming community begin. As you all, and yeah, you can hear people talking, chatting, music being played, dancing happening. Lots of activity in the evening when the sun goes down here in Aorna.
She'll probably specifically, like, once she's set all of her stuff up in her room, hang down in the tavern proper for a bit before going to sleep, basically.
Sure.
Me and Annie will have offered to take second watch if you are wanting to keep a watch.
I think she was more just, like, out of habit. She does it. She's not really expecting anyone else to.
Meanie Manny still offers, just so that you know that it's an option.
She
'Cause you did get
appreciates it, but
made
she
fun of for it.
appreciates it. She's not going to request it to do that.
You do hear while you're down there hanging out, you do hear that there are some people talking about current events and activities going on in the town. Apparently, there has been a spate of break-ins, and people have been like some people have been noticing things going missing. No clear identified culprit at the moment. Everybody has their own pet theory as to who it is, who in the community it might be. But that does seem, you get the tone that's slightly odd. This is Aorna being a farming community and being as sort of work oriented as it is. This sort of the thought of there being like a string of break-ins is unusual to everyone there. Because like one, what would you be looking for? B, why would you why would you be looking for these knickknacks that people have? Like, and yeah, unless it's your neighbor. But it seems like from what you gather, what's been missing have all been like knickknacks and trinkets. Nothing of significant value.
When she goes back up to her room, she will make sure to lock the window and the door.
Okay. And you all sleep. Let me just roll a d100 real quick.
Who gets robbed?
Grouper. Was there anything in your bag that wasn't of a particularly high material value, but was shiny and interesting?
You're muted, Craig.
My bad. You know what? I think Grouper probably has flies, fishing flies,
Mm-hmm.
that are sort of directly engineered to suit that purpose. I will also point out, Flop would be in the room with us,
Yep.
so anything coming in, essentially, there would be a guard dog kind of situation.
Yep.
Okay.
Fishing, is that it, or is there anything? Actually, no. I know what it is. All right.
He doesn't
So, yeah.
have a lot. I mean, coins, I guess, but I feel like he'd probably keep those. Honestly, those might even stay in the tub.
No, I know what it is. So yeah, you all wake up.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Gather your things, get back together.
Is it?
Make a perception check, Grouper.
I was gonna say, like, it's a meta question to ask, but I feel like Grouper does kind of check over his stuff. 18.
So you notice that your fishing rod has it's not just I'm assuming at least it's not just it's a line on a stick. It probably has a mechanical like reeling aspect to it.
No, I mean, yeah, it's very specifically a fishing tackle. So yeah.
The actual
The block and tackle, the actual thing that reels.
yes, the tackle block aspect of it has been removed entirely.
He's gonna. Is Ella awake or still asleep?
Probably awake.
He's gonna look around before saying anything. See if I note any differences. Is Flop seem undisturbed?
Flop seems undisturbed. Make an investigation check. Yeah, Flop seems completely undisturbed.
No barking during the night?
Nope.
$18.
18. There's no sign of anything having come in. There's not even really any sign of anything having disturbed your bag. It's as if the item in your bag had just demanifested.
Okay. Hey, babe. I think something's
What's up?
not. What?
Really?
Yeah, look, and he'll hold up the fishing rod and tackle and say, "Yeah, I know this was here because I broke it down and stored it yesterday, but I mean, we didn't notice anything. We were a little distracted for a while, but you know,
Right.
Flop didn't bark."
Oh my god. That's like so weird. And I'm gonna check my bag.
Yeah, that's what he was going to suggest next.
Okay. Nothing seems to be missing from your bag.
No, my stuff is here.
The block and reel off of Grouper's fishing rod is just gone.
Was the window latched?
Up to you guys. It can
Probably
be latched.
not.
Hmm.
I'm assuming probably not. It's probably nice to have the air in.
Right.
I'll go look out the window, see what what's below. Does it look like anybody could have conceivably climbed in?
Oh yeah, this is a one-story building. Absolutely, somebody could have just
Okay.
climbed in. Yeah, it wouldn't be hard for someone to get in through the window. There's just no sign that anybody did.
I should probably go ask downstairs or out front. It's a one-story building.
I can go check with everybody else.
Okay.
So you
I'll
all-
go to the first door. Whoever's room is closest and
we'll say
knock
it's-
on the
We'll
door.
say it's Tenebrus's.
All right. And unfortunately, it's knock, 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 open door. And it's locked.
find Tenebris. All the blankets bundled up into a nest.
Hey,
Head
Hey,
pops
Tenny.
out of nest. What's up?
are you missing anything? Because some groupers get fishing gear has vanished.
Rolls out of bed, rolls onto floor, stands up,
Yep.
and checks through bag.
No, not missing anything.
No, everything I brought's here.
Huh. All right. Thanks. And I'll go check with everybody else, not only to see if they're missing, but let them know they should check through their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you check with everybody. You all check your things. Nothing other than specifically groupers fishing tackle.
Actually, I don't think that I check with everybody necessarily.
Which room do you leave out?
I'm sorry. Y'all need to put your character names in your shit on Roll20.
Here I come.
Shawnee,
Noshka and the Good Goblins.
Najka, thank you.
The good goblins are in the same room as Najka.
Yes. Not checking because doesn't want to hear
Doesn't want to get the "I told you so."
about stolen shit. That room is distinctly left alone.
So
So
Davina,
then you just check with Davina.
Yes.
yeah, Davina, nothing.
Everybody else, just to show off my own hypocrisy, I was complaining about that when my name is not in my on Roll20. I will call out my own hypocrisy there.
Grouper, you go check at the front desk.
Yeah.
You go to the front desk as a person working there. Could I help you?
We were staying in room number whatever, or
Yeah.
the room with the ibis painted on it, or however they designate the different rooms.
Well,
Wow.
2 doors
The
down.
honeymoon suite.
The Chungus
And
room.
the Chungus room. We're getting ready to pack up and head out, and I found my fishing tackle. Looks like somebody took the actual reel off. Do you have anybody know who might have been coming into the rooms, or do you have any? What are? I think before having this conversation, it would have made sense for Gruber to think if he knows of any creatures or beings that wouldn't have potentially upset Flop and would be able to take shiny stuff.
Give me either a nature, religion, or arcana roll.
Maybe a bird came in the window?
Nope.
I mean, one of the gods could hate you.
Oh man. That seems so weirdly targeted.
It's specifically a river god for the river that you and Ella were in last night.
No, that's just an
The night
off
before.
that we were giving.
Um,
An act of worship.
Yes.
very active.
With that one, I mean, it could be just be a god hates you.
All right, so Grouper will say, we'll describe the situation and say, do you have, a lost and found, or any idea what might have happened?
I mean, the sheriff, or if something's left behind, we'll keep it behind the desk here. But no, nothing as far as I know. There have been people reporting things missing all around town recently. Lots of break-ins, lots of things, but nothing valuable being taken. It's mostly just random knickknacks, it seems like.
Anything? I mean, were they all metal? Were they all, fishing?
Actually, yes. No, now that you think about it, yeah, everything. Most of the things that I can recall, at least, are some form of metal has been taken, but not coin.
All right. Where is the sheriff?
Oh, it will direct you to where the local constabulary is.
Comes down.
Is this what do we know about sheriffs on the island? Is it like a sort of
I-
rotational position where somebody from the town is the like the
Yeah,
sheriff for the
it's like
or-
not sheriff for the week, but like every town has their own guard. Their guard, even though it's not super necessary all the time. The guards are community guards, and they tend to help out with things that require muscle or tend to solve disputes and fights, things like that. They're the people you go to when you need arbitration, like that. And like the sheriff in Aorna, there's someone referred to as a sheriff. They're not in Skrios. It's the guard captain. In Eorna, they refer to them as a sheriff. You don't know what they call them in Creedom, but that's the person in charge of the town guard. They are they're not elected, but they are chosen from like a council of people. And the sheriff tends to be the person that you go to, who then coordinates the guard response for any given thing. In this case, if you have a theft that needs to be reported, you go to the sheriff.
Is it? I mean, being familiar essentially only with this environment, is sheriff a position that inspires confidence? Because there are certainly places like
on the island, yes. Like on the island,
yeah.
These are all retired adventurers of one streak or another. At least Skrios is.
Okay.
Like,
Community members.
yeah.
I feel like this is a small enough community that if the community didn't like them, they wouldn't be the sheriff.
And in my setting, at least, guards are more like firefighters for a real world parallel.
I had assumed, knowing you a little bit out of character, I had assumed that we're not dealing with fancy police.
Yeah,
but I just
not,
wanted to double check.
Yeah. They're not cops. They're firefighters. They are here to make sure that their community is good.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
not
cool.
burning down.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. So I'll go back in and is Ella still kind of in the hallway?
Probably. I mean, probably back in the room, because it would not take long at all to check the
goblins
two
are
rooms.
looking for
The
food.
two rooms.
I'll go back to the room and go, hey babe, I'm gonna take Flop out for a walk.
Okay.
And I will take Flop out for a walk.
At this point,
down to the river. And
Jack, was it you saying the good goblin's probably out by now?
Yeah.
So
As is Nashka.
You passed by Nashka and the goblins, at least on your way down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Davina will go to check on Grouper, make sure he's okay, after Ella told her.
So you also encountered Davina running into Grouper in the hallway.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just gonna take Grouper. Just gonna take Flop out for a walk.
What's going on?
Ella said something was stolen.
Yeah, some kind of little critter seems like coming in and taking metal things. Just my wheel. I'm gonna pick up another one, but also talk to the sheriff in town. Maybe there's something we can do while we're here.
I heard about that. I heard about that last night.
Seems like it might be here. Noshka, I was actually thinking, if we can find out a little bit more about it, if there's something around here that's taking metal, I mean, if it's eating it. Oh, do you still have the metal from yesterday?
I do.
Oh,
Okay.
He looks for the little piece.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if it's something that's like taking it and putting it all together somewhere, like a nest or like a.
Do I know
like
of any supernatural creatures that can just from under people's noses just steal bits of metal?
You're gonna give me an Arcana, Religion, or Nature check.
Fingers
12.
crossed.
My dice do not like me today.
12 on Religion.
And better than mine.
Arcana, Religion, or Nature check.
Arcana, religion. Let's see what Meanie Manny knows.
Okay. Yeah, Jared.
I suppose Tenebris could be down and would
Yeah.
probably also.
You can also make that check.
Nope.
To the rest, you're not sure. With a 12 religion check, Najka, there's any number of spirits, like spirits from various different places that could theoretically do this. As far as things that are known for it, you're not sure, but you're not you're not a faith leader or any kind of thing like that. So it's not like you have a lot of education in this particular realm. So you're not sure. It could be literally any number of things. Um, with a 14 Arcana, Divina, yeah, probably not a naturally occurring creature, so not a person, not like a humanoid, because those tend to make noise. Things that make things vanish tend to be spirit sprites, sometimes small, sometimes big, depending on their level of power. Could be anything from something that just flew in the window and took it, or something that just made it go away or come to them. The 15 religion for Meanie Manny, same thing. Yeah, just like not certain of anything specific though. Meanie Manny might probably lean more towards it being something potentially Fae related. That might be the first thing that pops in for Meanie Manny. Just because those tend to be the things associated with shit randomly disappearing. But yeah, Grouper, you head out. Is anyone going with Grouper, or is Grouper just heading in on their own?
Divina will go with Grouper.
Yeah, I'm going with.
Okay.
Yeah. Meanie Manny's coming.
Cooper will take Flop for a walk. That wasn't a cover. He's legitimately taking Flop out for a walk down to the water, and then will head to the sheriff. But Cooper will finish the thought from before, saying, I mean, if we can, who knows? There might be some more of that the special metal that you're looking for if we can find it, if it's being collected somewhere.
It's possible. I
Right.
heard about this thieving thing situation last night while I was sitting in the tavern on watch.
Well, probably worth looking into it. I mean, unless there's a huge time pressure. It seems like
I don't think we're particularly pressed for time.
Meanie Manny has every intention to look into this.
Doesn't sound like a tremendous burden or anything, but it sounds pretty annoying. If we can help lift some
Might be
annoyance,
worth
so much
looking
the
into,
better.
eh?
They took your fishing tackle. We're going to look into it.
Yeah, I'm get another fishing tackle, but
Yeah, but it was your fishing.
Right.
yeah, but I mean, it's just a fishing tackle. I mean, I lose those sometimes. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, but babe, it's one thing to lose something. It's something else for somebody to steal it.
Well, I mean, I guess.
And we
so.
don't want it to keep happening.
No, I think that's more that, because it's it's easy enough to get another fishing tackle, but what if it was somebody's favorite necklace, or so I agree with you. I'm not upset about the fishing tackle, but I do think it sounds like there's a problem, and I'd like to help with it if we can.
You don't have to be upset about it for it to be wrong.
I guess that's true.
I mean, I'm upset about it.
Let's see what the sheriff's got, and if there might be something we can help out with.
Yeah. So if we can find something to kick it in the ass, so much the better.
So you take Flop for a walk, and then head your way down to the local sheriff's office. The sheriff is very easy to find because he is. You're getting the suspicion that there might be a running theme as far as authority figures on this island. Because where the mayor of the Skrios is a dragon turtle looking turtle, the sheriff of Iorna is a humanoid that stands slightly just under 8 feet tall. Has this sort of dusky red scabrous hide that is covered in spikes and hard points all over the place, with this sort of slit pupil yellow eyes that that don't seem to have any sclera. I think is the white of your eyes.
Yes, Claire.
It
Yes.
doesn't even have any sclera. It's all like iris and then slit pupil. Kind of looks like a rocky crag stood up and started walking.
What'd you
but,
call me?
Any of you that want to
Rocky.
can make a nature check.
I
My
mean,
dice are not liking me.
why not? I'll give it a shot.
Worst I can do is fail.
I have not rolled above, I think, a 8 this whole game.
So
Ten.
Tenebris is the only one who recognizes this. Actually, this person is a Tarasker, which are people whose bloodline has been tainted with the blood of a Tarask. Quite literally, the way Tarasker bloodlines are started is a Tarask is killed and its blood infects people.
Fun.
And their lineage then has aspects of a Tarask that begin to manifest. So yeah, the massive rocky crag of a man, sitting at a desk doing paperwork. When the group of you come in. Yes, can I help you?
Aye.
Hello.
We're missing fishing tackle.
Yeah, so somebody got into our room last night and only took, which is actually kind of weird now that I think about it, but only took out of one of our packs block and tackle, right? That's what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, block and tackle.
You wouldn't happen to have
familiar.
the fable going on, would you?
Sorry, what was that, Jack?
You wouldn't happen to have any fable shit going on, would you?
I will say, out of
fable
character,
shit?
I love the fact that all of us are talking at once because I feel very much like that
I know
is
you
actually
said
what's
fey
happening.
bullshit, but I heard fable shit.
Yeah,
I also heard
he
bullshit.
he also heard fable shit, which is why he asked, define fable shit?
No.
The fake. They
Yes.
get up to bullshit.
Fey, I see.
It is not okay.
He just reaches under the desk, pulls out a stack of papers, flips through it, pulls out
Has
one,
anybody seen Peter Molyneux?
hands the paper to Grouper. Fill this out. It's like an item, like a stolen property report that apparently he has had to get a lot of copies of this made recently.
Okay.
What's
Answer
that
the
going
rest
to
of
do
your
against
question.
the fake?
Mostly it's categorization, so that if we find it, we know who it was stolen from. To answer the rest of your questions, yes, we have had a string of minor, not valuable bits of metal being stolen. We are currently investigating it. We do not currently have leads. So if you have something useful to report about it, we would appreciate it. Otherwise, if we find it, we'll return it to you.
Do you all have any leads?
Says Grouper.
He literally just said they don't.
He just said they don't have any leads, yeah. What was the 23 insight on, Greg?
Just seeing, is he actually as bored as he seems? Is he upset about this? Like, what is his general vibe about?
You get the sense that this is an ongoing investigation that he and his people are in the middle of, and you are the 700. You're like the 200th person to come in with the exact same story and no additional information.
Well,
Go ahead.
where's the stuff been going missing? What you have to have something.
Well, we know right now is that single items, never more than one thing at a time. Typically, as far as we're able to tell so far, all made of metal of some kind. No commonality between the type of metal, at least. Disappearing from places where they typically shouldn't, with no indication of anyone actually taking it.
Fable
Hey,
shit.
If it's all metal, I'd normally associate something along the lines of a rust monster on a feeding spree, but you'd notice something like that.
You
Yeah,
would
there was
guess.
definitely not a rust monster in our room.
I'm not so certain about Fey bullshit either. He's just looking towards the goblin. The Fey are not known for their love of metals, at least not for the most part.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye. And I'm going to try and pull people out, like sort of usher people out of the
Maybe
room.
Manny will come, but he's grumbling the whole time.
Have I finished the form?
Yeah, it's not not a lot of information you got to put in.
Name, which city I live in, what I'm missing.
When we get outside, Group is going to check his bag to see if there are any. Hearing the thing about the rust monster, he's going to check his bag to see if there are any like flakes of rust or scraps or anything, crumbs in there.
Nothing that you can see, no.
Okay.
No, at least nothing that wasn't already in there.
So.
How is that your implication? My bag's immaculate.
Fair. So I don't know if this is related, but I just kind of had a thought. We just found some metal. Metal seems to be popping up missing increasingly more.
Yeah, but it didn't take any of that.
What if it's some kind of weird?
Yeah. More to the point though, the metal that seems to be getting taken is not of like particular value. I'd argue these two pieces are very valuable.
Right.
But some kind of weird what, bud?
I don't know, like some kind of weird equal and opposite reaction kind of thing. Something appears, something vanishes.
Something gets taken out of the river, something gets put into the river, kind of.
Or area.
But
And
was
we
it,
weren't
Is it
in the
that?
river.
that stuff was very old? Didn't we decide that stuff was old?
Right.
Yeah, the stuff we
New.
pulled out of the river is exceptionally old, and who knows specifically. Although, if they're not getting anywhere in their investigations, and they've got guards that walk the whole length of the town on land, maybe the three of you that can go underwater might be able to find something the land walking guards might not be able to.
Yeah, that's a good question. Are there any other aquatic folk in this town?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Yeah. I see we are playing a D&D game again.
Yeah.
Nice, doing the thing for me.
So what I'm asking, I guess, is there anything fishy about the guards?
Yeah.
No.
I swear
Heck.
this is not. This is because Grouper rolled in 25 and not just to dunk on Najka. But Grouper, as Najka is making the suggestion, you're looking past Najka down the river, and you watch as a guard that looks kind of like an orca with legs just pushes himself out of the river, shakes off a bit, and starts walking.
Water crimes here. Not with an orca on guard. There's not a single water crime in this town.
So here's the thing.
But there's a lot of moose.
Well, no, because yeah.
It was specifically to dunk on Najka, is what you're saying.
It really wasn't, because I already have a demographic split of the people that are in Aorna, and
Right.
like a not insignificant percentage of them are water-based people. So it's
That's
just-
fair. I mean, here's the thing. Like, we had in our room, I mean, yeah, we were asleep, but we were in there. What was in there? It's something that snuck in and taken something. I feel like we would have known.
Yeah,
Whereas if something, especially if it had to disconnect the block and tackle from the pole, like that's not necessarily a quiet process.
well, I mean,
Oh, something vanished it.
yeah.
Right. So if something, for example, I don't know, teleported it out.
Right. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's not a bad idea. I think we could ask if there's any commonality between the reports and
They said there was.
recently found artifacts.
See, I didn't want to necessarily say that in front, and because I don't know if we want to necessarily tell anybody that we have that yet.
Is there any reason that anything would happen if we did let them know? Like,
I don't think so, but
it would be confiscated or something?
I don't think so. I don't know, but I didn't want to just throw that out until we all had a chance to talk about it.
We could just say we were doing some fishing yesterday, and we don't have to say what we caught.
I mean,
But
we've
just
got
ask if that was. Just ask me. Maybe everybody who lost something had been by the water. That could be a good first step. And
They
then-
might have, yeah, that's true. They might have some sort of well, if this area is anything salvaged from here goes to they could, then we don't have a right to have it.
we have a pass to go get metal. We've got like legal paperwork saying we can go get this stuff.
We have legal paperwork to enter the forest.
Yeah, that and
For
Copper
the
will get
purpose of
you.
collecting this stuff.
Which good goblin is saying that?
Meanie Manny.
Yeah, that sounds like Meanie Manny.
Mini, I love that you're this straightforward about it. I think that's. We don't want to necessarily hide things, but we also don't have to show all of our cards at once.
I'm just irritated. This seems very
That's okay.
unprofessional.
And I appreciate that you're pissed off on my behalf. I mean, I do. So,
Well, at the very least, we can take a look around, and if we don't find anything that might be worthwhile, if we feel like we're spinning our wheels, we can move on and just get a new block and tackle for Grouper. And if we find something useful, we might be able to help out the town with the investigation. So let's take a bit of time, look around, see what we can spot.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to can make investigation checks.
Yeah.
Maybe my
I'll do
dice will roll
underwater.
something above an 8.
If anyone would like to help somebody else do an investigation check, then one of you can make it with advantage.
Yeah,
I'll
I
help
can help.
Shawnee
Can I
make an
help
investigation
myself?
check.
In this case, no. Because
I'll
you're
help.
searching as a collective.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I would have been very surprised if you'd said yes, to be honest.
Grouper is happy to help. Is not the most incisive investigator. So anybody else underwater? Oh no, Elafir's already got it. Never mind.
All right.
I guess I'll. Damn, Davina and Elafira. Let me see how badly I screw up mine.
You could help the good goblins if
Ken-
you wanted.
Are they going underwater?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like we would split up above water and underwater.
Right.
Oh, can Flop help me?
No.
Okay.
Oh. I thought that was like the one.
Well, as far as so this is an investigation in other senses, it would be like a gather information role. This is not. This is you just spending the day trying to figure something out, not necessarily specifically looking for one thing under the water.
Okay.
But you got that 20.
I mean,
so,
that said the underwater crew has it, so.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Tenebris, want to make a roll as well?
No,
I
Tenebris was helping me.
Helped.
I got
Oh,
advantage.
right. You were helping Nashka. That's right. All right. So, we got 7, 22, 20, 19, 20, natural 20, 21. So, good goblins with a 7.
We found the answer.
Don't really find
It
much.
was the thing.
It was the Fae. Like, Meanie Manny has settled on it being the Fae, and pretty much solidly.
Wandering around grumbling about the incompetence of the local constabulary.
It was an inside job. Flop did it.
I'm really curious what grounds they have, like Meanie Manny has to be grumpy, to be complaining about it on, but that's absolutely in character.
He's just feeling grumpy, and so he's complaining.
Yeah.
Let him.
That's fair.
I think I've got this read. This is just how meanie man he is.
Yeah. With a 19, Elefira. So what you're picking up as you're investigating around the town for the day, there doesn't seem to be any specific pattern in what's being stolen. It does, like, given the descriptions that you're gathering and the descriptions that you have yourself, you are getting the idea that maybe these things are just being teleported out of the room, like, or summoned out of the room, or something. Something is magically, or at least supernaturally, extricating it from wherever they are, based on the stories that you're gathering, what you're hearing from people, the gossip that you're getting.
And just for clarity, her version of investigation was very much want to speak to your manager-esque.
Absolutely. With a 20 and a 22 from Davina and Najka, you're getting pretty much the same thing, but just from different avenues, basically. All the stuff that's going, like the sheriff said, all the stuff that was being taken is made of metal. None of it, you do gather that none of it is partially metal. It's not like somebody like had a wooden handle knife went going. Everything is entirely a metallic like object of some kind. No non-metal parts.
But none of it was iron. Meaning Manny just grumbled.
There's no consistency in what it was. Like there were some iron nails, some steel files, some brass knobs, like all manner of different things for different purposes. There doesn't seem to be any cohesion to either what metal it is or what functionality it serves. With a natural 20, Grouper, while you are diving in the river looking around, you see what looks kind of like a crab skittering across the bottom of the river at one point with your tackle attached to it.
Like hermit crab style?
No, because it looks like a crab, but it looks like it's a crab made entirely of metal. And it has like a trap cage on its back that the tackle is in.
Oh. Okay.
And it is scuttling along the bottom of the river far faster than a normal crab would be able to move.
Which direction is it going?
It seems to be heading towards the cleft.
Okay. Are Davina or Ella close to me?
I would say at this, you were specifically talking about diving into the river. Ella's talking to people, so Ella wouldn't be. Davina, would you be scouring the river or just talking to people?
No, Davina is definitely going to the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Davina might be close by, yeah.
Davina, quick, take a look at this weird crab. It's headed for the cleft.
Oh, I can never get over this voice.
It's moving fast. It's moving fast enough that by the time you look back after having called Davina, it's gone.
No. I wouldn't take my eyes off of it.
Okay,
for sure.
Well, then you will. It disappears from your line of sight down the river before you finish calling Davina. That's how fast it's moving.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take off. Now, I know how fast I can swim. Does it look like it was going faster than I can swim?
Yes.
Okay, even with the current?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Speedy little fucker.
What's that?
I said a speedy little fucker.
Okay. Realistically, Grouper, I don't think would have any sense of, like, it's worth trying to chase it, right? Like, it didn't look like it was scuttling into a hole. It looked like it was booking it towards the cleft.
You can make a survival check.
Okay.
Another natural 20. Look at that.
Another natural 20. Yeah, no. You don't think that chasing it is going to be all that fruitful for you based on the speed that it's moving and the fact that it seems to be ignoring the pressure of the water. The way things move typically there's a bit of physicality to things when they move. This thing is moving as if the water isn't there.
Okay. Do I see any others?
No, that was the only one you saw until you lost sight of it.
Okay. All right. I will, if Davina is swimming up, I will describe it to Davina, and then say, we'd probably better go alert the others.
All right.
Some sort of mechanical crab.
Is the crab stealing things, or is it working for someone?
I don't know. It had a little cage on its back, like it was collecting things.
Pretty sure it's working for somebody.
How big was the cage? Was it like real sized, or does it look like it could be different things?
Small item sized. It could have been other things. The reel was not filling it up.
Okay.
There was a couple of other things in there as well. It's just the reel was the thing that caught your attention because it was the shiniest.
Yeah.
And
it
also
was
yours.
There's a decent chance there's more than one as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
And also, if it's not being affected by the water, that might explain how it was coming in and finding things. Maybe it can just pass right through walls.
Or how big was it?
It was about this big, and Grouper will demonstrate.
Relatively small, yeah, like size tiny.
So
Did
it could.
Please go ahead.
Oh no, she was just gonna say it could probably get into rooms pretty easily then.
Well, we did have our window open. It was a very nice night. I suppose that was a little foolish of us.
If it can climb, then definitely.
But you should have seen the way it was moving through the water. It was uncanny.
All right, we should probably let the others know. But I'm pretty sure it's working for somebody.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes skinned for any others.
So you surface and find the others. You all regroup. You've spent a couple of hours at this point investigating.
Gatsby has been collecting a list of what has been going missing.
Yep.
That's just what she's been doing. I don't need the information.
You guys aren't going to believe this. It's like a basket crab that can go through the water, like it's not swimming. And Gripper will describe what he saw.
Can I identify what, like, I'm familiar with metal and potentially metal-related constructs. Could I potentially identify that?
Give me a history check.
Would stone and cunning apply?
No, because it's not made of stone.
Fair enough. Metal is a type of stone, one could argue.
One could.
Since
Not with a natural fucking one. Always, always, my dice.
I was going to offer to assist.
The amount of either side of the maxed out spectrum that we've had this session has been ridiculous.
So since apparently I have some familiarity with automatons, can I make an Arcana roll?
Sure.
Can I roll?
What do you want to roll?
I want to roll history.
Roll history. Would anyone else like to roll something?
Yes, history?
Go ahead.
History's be better than nature. Yep.
Okay.
Jesus.
The good goblins. The only ones that rolled high enough. Gatsby specifically remembers. This is a faint, like, nascent childhood memory. You do remember seeing something like that was described back in the ruins that your goblin camp was in. You don't remember much other than having seen them, though. You get, like, the sense that they tended to collect things. Specific things was the sort of the idea that you had, but you're not certain much more beyond that.
And that's not really anything.
Yeah.
There.
but that's the only thing that no one else has, like, no information or recollection of anything relating to mechanical crabs at all, at least as far as would be relevant. But yeah, Gatsby, the only thing that you've got is that, yeah, you recall these being.
I've seen one before.
You've seen them in this, in the location where you found the gauntlet, like.
Well, that might be, at the very least, a lead to share with the sheriff, if nothing else, even if we don't think we can catch the thing.
I mean, sorry, I forgot I wasn't underwater. I mean, at least they might have a better idea of what to look for, and maybe they've heard about these things.
Well, we can keep looking in the river. Which way was it going?
It was going towards the cleft. You know,
Going.
I mean, we can always go fishing for it. Does anybody else have anything small, metal, and shiny?
I mean, duh.
We could, if it seems like it's going out of town, just sort of keep an eye down the river while we're making our way on a barge.
We could fish while we're on our raft.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea.
I mean, it would at least answer the question potentially of how it's getting through. You know, if we put a basket, a crab basket down, and it just goes through it, grabs the metal thing, and keep going, then we know they're incorporeal.
I still think it would be a wise idea to inform the sheriff on the way out. So, if there is no objection to that, Najka will go to inform the sheriff before we leave.
Yeah, I'll come. Google will come to give a first-hand account.
Okay. You go to the sheriff's office. The Tarasker is still there. He listens to your account, writes some things down. Small metal crabs. Huh. He doesn't seem like he doesn't believe you. He just seems like that's not anywhere on the list of things he was thinking it would be.
He's not winning the pool.
What was that, Jack?
It wasn't on the bingo card.
Yeah, was not. Yeah, was not. No. You said it was heading towards the cleft.
Yeah.
I'll have Phineas go take a look.
Which is the direction that we were heading anyway. So,
Phineas, you hear him calling out to one side, and that orca guard comes in, and he explains what you've just told him, and the orca nods, gives you guys a thumbs up, and then walks out, and you hear a splash as he hits the river.
Can I can I dap him as he goes out? Just like a little tiny group of fist?
Yeah.
All right. Fish bros.
There's a splash, and he's in the water. All right, well, have you learned anything else? If we haven't found anything, please let us know. Otherwise, and he'll actually he'll hand you a small pouch that has 15 silver in it as a reward for information.
Oh, thanks. Do you know a good place I could get another tackle?
Yes. There's the masturbator at the end of the river. Is the local fishing shop.
This is Grouper's complete lack of surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
all right. Well, while you're going to get a new tackle, I'll see what I can do about negotiating some lumber to make a raft.
Okay. I'll let's see. I have to do my Gobbins math. How many of us individuals are there total?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
There's 8 of us. Okay. So I'll give everybody 2 silver. And I'll just keep 1. So we divide it up.
No, but That's for take mine at least, because that's for compensation because you lost the thing.
Meaning also insists, so the good goblins don't take theirs.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
need. I don't need. It's fine.
Well,
Yeah, Davina won't take hers either.
God, hold on, just what? But I appreciate it, but listen, this is, this is like our first loot as adventurers.
Well, then divide it up after you replace your tackle.
We gotta split it.
We can split it after you replace your tackle.
Okay, but we split loot, right? I mean, that's the adventurer's code.
Sure.
I presume, is that a thing? Like, did we learn that with Father Martin?
He did not teach you that specifically. No.
Okay. If it isn't, I totally down with our group just insisting it is.
Yeah. I mean,
That's my ninja way.
Yeah, to be clear, Grouper is legitimately excited to have our first party loot.
Right. No, absolutely. Just because I don't know if we will get to distribute it, when that happens, there will absolutely be a point where Ella will sneak however much she gets back into Grouper's pack.
So you go down. So
she does not need the money.
Just to cap things off, it's about.
I love being my enormous girlfriend's trophy fish.
It's about 20 gold to get enough lumber to make a raft. So I'm sure that the group of you can figure that out amongst your own coffers.
Yeah.
There's
Four
5
each?
from 4 of us, or 4
No.
each. Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, not even quite 4 each.
Yeah.
1 gold. 1 gold to replace the tackle.
Okay.
So 10 of the 15 silver you were given.
Yeah.
The masturbator is a fishing shop run by the skeeviest kobold you have ever met.
Ew, I am not going in there.
Very clearly, he named it that way for a reason.
Yeah, the good goblins all wait outside.
So yeah, Nachko will just grab 3 gold from everyone else, and she'll use 5 of her own to make up the 20 that is needed for the raft.
You are able to get enough lumber and no rolls are needed to wrap together a raft. There are enough of you that have an idea of what you're doing, and there are people that can help around town that you can get it done, no problem. And we will end the session this week on the group of you having finished putting together a raft and replacing a fishing tackle. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.